Hello, you're listening to Got Clutter, Get Organized. I am your host, Janet M. Taylor, and I want to say hello if you're a regular listener, and welcome if you're listening for the very first time. I hope you are having a great week. In this episode, I will be sharing a few strategies to planning your work and your life. So I've been getting a lot of questions about planning, and of course, I will be sharing my product suggestion, app suggestion, repurpose suggestion, and my book suggestion for this week. And my question for you this week is, do you use a planner, a physical paper planner? I recently went back to using one again because I needed it to help me really plan my week, my month, and of course my life. So this is a fact I found out from Bing. It's in the digital age. But in the digital age, those items still haven't gone the way of the dinosaur, and that is the planner. Studies show that paper planners, calendars, and appointment books have not only survived the digital revolution, but they have become very, very popular, which is why I wanted to share with you how you can plan. And this is just like a portion of some of the things I share when I do my planning webinars and speaking engagements. And just for those of you who may be joining me for the first time, I am Janet Taylor. I am the host and producer of this Got Clutter, Get Organized podcast, but I am also a professional organizer, and I've been helping people get organized by creating space to attract more money, love, and happiness for over 27 years. And so you have probably heard the saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And as I shared earlier, is that I have actually started using a planner again. And the reason I kind of got away from a planner is because I was always taking it with me, and I didn't feel like carrying a bulky item, which is why I went to I have a Google Calendar. But after this year of, being indoors and working more virtually from my home, I realized I've got a notebook, I've got a calendar, I've got the whiteboard. Am I being effective? And when a planner was introduced to me, I said, you know what, I'm going to give it a try. So a couple of things I just want to share with you, and you probably have already heard me say it, is 1, 15 minutes of pre-planning can save you an hour, which means at the end of every evening, before you leave your workspace at home, or if you are actually on site, just kind of gather all the things you need to do the next workday. And at home, plan what you're going to wear. Even if you are working from home, plan what you're going to wear. Plan your meals, because that saves you an hour. Now for the bigger project, the bigger organizing projects, you want to take an hour of planning. But I also take at least an hour every week to plan my coming week of what I need to do, from working with clients to preparing presentations to even buying the groceries. And that saves you 3 to 4 hours in actual execution. So the problem is, sometimes we feel like we lack the time to plan. But your solution is you take it, you assign that planning session, whether it's a Friday, whether it's a Saturday, whether it's a Sunday, and making sure that you make it a priority. You schedule it in your calendar, you sit down with all of your tools, and you actually start planning not only your week, but really begin to think about planning your life. So I want to give you the 5 P's of planning. Prior planning prevents poor performance. I'm going to say that again. Prior, that means that pre-planning 15 minutes to an hour, planning, sitting down, creating a strategy, prevents poor performance, whether it's at work or whether it's even organizing a closet, because you'll have motivation to take the project from start to finish. So now, I'm going to take a quick break because I want you to go get a pen and maybe some paper. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy, because I'm going to give you a test on how well you plan, and I want you to be able to take some notes. So go grab your pen, go grab your paper, and I will be back shortly. Like this show and want to make your own? Let me tell you about Anchor. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Now you can even add any song from Spotify directly to your episode. The possibilities are endless for what you can create, whether it's music analysis, your own radio show, or something the world's never heard before. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free app or go to anchor.fm to get started. All right, do you have your pen and paper ready? So I want you to first of all write. Um, so these are the questions on how well do you plan. The first question is, how often do you plan in an effort to keep your life from running out of control? If you never plan, give yourself a 1. Seldom plan, give yourself a 2. Sometime plan, give yourself a 3. You often plan, give yourself a 4. And you always plan, give yourself a 5. The next question, do you put daily plans on paper? 1, never. 2, you seldom do it. Sometimes you do it at number 3, often number 4, and always number 5. Next question. Do you allow flexibility in your plans? Never. Give yourself a 1, seldom give yourself a 2, sometimes give yourself a 3, often give yourself a 4, always give yourself a 5. How often do you accomplish all you've planned for a given day? 1, never. 2, seldom. 3, sometimes. 4, often. 5, always. The next question is, how often do you plan time for what matters the most to you? 1, never. 2, seldom. 3, sometimes. 4, often. 5, always. And the last question is, how often is your daily plan destroyed by urgent interruptions? If you give yourself a 5 if it never happens, give yourself a 4 if it seldom happens, give yourself a 3 if sometimes it happens, give yourself a 2 often, and give yourself a 1 if it always happens. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to add all of those numbers up, and then I'm going to give you what those numbers mean. And then I'm going to share with you where I am. So if you got a 6 to a 12, you should consider using new tools and processes to help you plan more effectively. If you've got 11 to 15, you may already have a planning system, but using it more effectively will help you reduce the stress and lack of control you feel in your life. If you got a 16 to 20, your planning system is working, but you can do better. You may need help focusing on priorities, dealing with the urgent interruptions, or writing your daily plan. If you've got a 21 to 25, your system is working well. Keep up the good work with periodic reviews. Be sure you are planning around what matters most in your life. And I'm around that 20 to 25. And if you're between 26 and 30, you may be an excellent planner, but you may be a candidate for burnout. You have mastered planning and should experience a serenity that comes from taking charge of your life. Nevertheless, make sure you are in control of your planning rather than letting it control you. So, of course, I hope just hearing that will help you become, make some do some fine tuning in regards to your planning. So I just wanted to share that with you for those of you who may be like, you know what, I need to kind of revise things because we're in a new month. You know, we've already had 3 months have passed. So maybe it's time to refine how we plan because how we were planning and managing our time when we were working outside of the home and we were doing a lot of things has to kind of adjust now. So now I want to move on to Taylor's tip time. And Taylor's tip time in regarding to planning is number one, pick a day once a week. It could be Friday, it could be Saturday, it could be Sunday. Make sure it's a place that you can relax in. Usually I sit once I've cleared my desk because this is where I do my planning. You pull out your calendar. So usually I pull my calendar up on my laptop. Then I get my before I would get my journal, but or you can get your journal or your planner. And then I write down, I look at my week and see, okay, let's see, when can I navigate laundry and grocery shopping and meal prepping? But then also, I've got to prep for a webinar. I've got to meet with somebody. I've got to prep for that and just plan and just be realistic about your plan. Yes, you're going to have things in your plan, your to dos, and things going to pop up and you may not be able to do it. And that's why it's good to write it down because then you can shift it to another day. So I hope you enjoyed those tips from Taylor's Tip Time. And of course, if you have been working on getting organized and feel that you need someone to guide you from start to finish by providing you with details needed to clear the clutter and get organized, then let's talk so I can share how you can get back on track and get organized with my virtual sessions. You can go to my contact page at janetmtaylor.com for a free 15-minute session to see that you can share with me what your problem is, what your dilemma is, and I can share with you maybe a couple of solutions and see how we can work together moving forward. And of course, I've reduced my 30 and 60-minute sessions as well. And then, of course, maybe you are like Janet. I really need to take my planning and my time management to another level. Well, I have to strategize and organize. And if you're overwhelmed and feeling like you want to manage everything at work and at home and in your life, then let me help you. I work with clients so that they can get things done without feeling stressed or burned out and create a life so you can have the time to do all the things you want to do without feeling overwhelmed. So click the link in the show page, strategize and organize. Well, of course, I want to thank you for following me on social media, for your likes, your retweets, for your sharing. Please continue to share and subscribe to my social media platforms and also my YouTube channel. And of course, don't forget Pinterest and check out my Pinterest board, all about time. All about time. Well, do you know what time it is? I hear you chanting all across the country and around the world. It's Toss It Tuesday. And this week, I want you to go to those post it notes and those little notes you've got taped on the bulletin board on your wall, on the refrigerator, and get rid of those you no longer need. So that's my Toss It Tuesday tip for you this week. And of course, my app suggestion for this week is Toggle. It's time tracking. It's Toggle. It's time tracking app that helps you track your time because sometimes we need to know how long it takes us to do stuff. And of course, I would like for you to visit my Amazon shop and check out the Organized Life products, just products that will help you have better manage your health information, your medical information, help you protect your documents, help you organize your documents, and so much more. So click the link in the show page. But of course, this week there is a document bag with a lock that is fireproof and it helps you organize those important information. So check that out. And of course, always check out my Pinterest page and my boards on my repurpose. I've got the office, the home, as well as the garden, because I know a lot of you are getting out in the garden now, so you can kind of get some ideas of like, oh, I don't have to throw that item out. I can actually use it in the garden. My book selection for this week is Time Management from the Inside Out by Julie Morgenstern. And of course, my quote for you this week is there is no such thing as time management, but self management. Again, there is no such thing as time management, but self management. Well, I thank you so much for joining me for this short version of Got Clutter, Get Organized. And I'm going to be talking about time management and planning in future episodes. So thank you for listening. Be sure to share this podcast with your family, friends, and on your social media network. And of course, if you're enjoying this podcast, please write a review. Let me know, or either you can just send me a voice message directly on the show page. Please check my website at janetmtaylor.com. And until next time, you have a clutter-free day. But most of all, you have an organized week. Organization is the quintessential element of a clutter-free life. Join me as we take this journey together. Along the way, we will find the necessary answers to your organizing dilemma. My name is Janet M. Taylor, and you are tuned in to Got Clutter, Get Organized.